Hi everyone, welcome to the team call. I apologize for any background noise. I am at the beach. My sister got a beach house. That's where I'm at. So that I tried to be less obnoxious, but it was too hot in here. Hang on, let me close out. I have some people that are not muted. So I want to make sure that there's no other background noise in addition to the hum of the machine. Okay, so welcome to the team call. If anybody is here for the first time, welcome. We're glad you're here. We're doing this first and third Tuesdays of the month, then a more action-based hour, the second and fourth Tuesday, where we actually do our vital behaviors together for accountability, for inspiration, for ideas. Oh, we have a first timer. Welcome. Congrats on your new coaching business. We're super glad you're here. Okay, so I am on a mission to make these team calls, generally shorter. I'd like to make it like action-packed in 30 minutes. But if need be, like last week we had an awesome guest speaker who was amazing, and every bit of her time was super valuable. So it was great, but I do understand how hard it is to make time for all of our business behaviors, and sometimes getting on a call is tough. You can't hear. Is my volume okay for everybody? Hopefully we're good. Okay. It is recording, so I'll be able to share the recording later. So anyway, I would like to make these 30 minutes if possible, kind of some quick training, because here's the thing. We have so much training at our disposal already. There you have a plethora of resources. You don't really need more training necessarily because it's pretty much all there, and I don't want to waste your time. Honestly, if you could use this hour to crush some invites and some connections, that's usually going to be a little more valuable for most people than another training. But I also see a lot of value in us coming together as a unit and learning and sharing ideas. So that's what I want this to be. But what I am trying to maybe gear towards is a little bit more tactical, practical, like actually getting some more action instead of just listening and consuming. I'd like to get people moving on stuff. So we're going to do that today. I'm going to start to get you guys moving in some social media game planning. Because that's what I feel like people need more than training, is me talking at you because you have that all available to you, is like putting your pen to paper and doing something, getting you started so that you can roll beyond this call. So for those of you who didn't see the topic or the title or anything, we're talking about creating a social media game plan. So I would love to get you guys thinking more about creating intention around what you're sharing on social media. I think a lot of us just can find ourselves like, oh gosh, I need to post something today, and having zero inspiration and feeling kind of panicked, and then taking forever to post something that really shouldn't have taken that long. And that time would have much better been used talking to people, connecting to people. And that's what I want to help you guys with. You should never be spending way too much time figuring out what to put on Facebook and Instagram at the expense of your vital behaviors. But who will admit to doing it? Go ahead. You know it. We all do it. Editing that perfect filter, whatever. I just shared. Anybody here let me just go ahead and who here's on the in the little 30-day recruiting challenge, social media challenge? Cool. If not, and you want to be, go ahead and let me know, or let your upline know, and we'll tag you under the post to kind of get I'm feeding you post ideas every day for a month that are kind of geared towards recruiting. So this is, I really just wanted to give people some accountability and a push to be intentional about posting, rather than kind of reactive. Proactive, because oftentimes it's just, oh crap, I gotta throw something up. So that's great, and this is going to support that, and it is going to ideally give you a little bit more of a plan on this 30 days and even during this 30 days. So I wanted to, I still have some unmuted lines over here. So most of you, or if you're all on that Remind thread, you'll notice that I sent a podcast link today. So you may or may not have had time to listen to that. I don't expect that if I throw a podcast out, you should know I'm right on it. But a lot of you may have already listened to it. But for those of you who haven't, I encourage you to check it out when you get a chance, because that is kind of my disclaimer before we talk about this, what the topic of that podcast is. And the title of it was How Attraction Marketing is Killing Your Business, or something like that. And essentially what he's saying, and this is very true, so many people think they're working their business when they're not, because they're considering that time and energy spent trying to be good on social. And if you're newer and you don't know what attraction marketing is, let me go ahead, and I don't want to assume that everyone knows what that is, because that's a big assumption. Attraction marketing is this big buzzword that kind of came along in the past few years as businesses were using Instagram, Facebook to attract people, and the idea was to not be super salesy, to share value that attracts the right kind of people. So you would put content out there that aligns with your target audience, but not like salesy posts. And so that's basically how we train you to, that's how we train you on social media. And then, Chalene did us one better by coining the term curiosity marketing, which I still think is part of attraction marketing, but it's kind of a little bit more of a, the lines. So curiosity marketing is making sure that you're being kind of mysterious in some of your posts, alluding to a product or alluding to something without throwing it all out there, without saying the name of a product or saying the name of what you're doing, so that people are like, oh, what is she doing? Let me know more. Let me pay attention. So that's what attraction marketing is. But what we do oftentimes is we find ourselves spending way too much time posting and not enough time doing the vitals. And I would be willing to bet that this has hurt your business if you've been here for any longer than a couple months as a coach, not prioritizing your vitals and just saying, oh, I work my business today because I engage with people on social, I posted a picture, but you didn't actually create new contacts, follow up with people, invite, whatever. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there that, and this is interesting, the guy, actually was saying, new coaches, or he's not referring to coaches specifically, reps, network marketers. He was saying really 70% of, did he say 70 or 80? I forget what he said, of a new rep's time should be invested in the vital behaviors, the actual working business, and 30% is in social media. And I would agree. And if I look back, but I feel like maybe I haven't made that, I think maybe that's not entirely clear in a new coach training. So let me just put that out there. Yes, we want to train you on social because we know that people are super afraid. We want to make sure that you're comfortable. Certain, you're putting it out there so your warm market kind of knows. But your vitals have to be number one. If you are not willing to add new contacts, start talking to them, making friends, building rapport, and eventually sharing a product opportunity, you will never grow this business. You may want to be a hobby coach, and that's great, but you will not grow a business if you are not comfortable. Well, I wasn't comfortable either, but I got more comfortable. I made myself more comfortable over time with baby steps. If you don't understand that that's the way it's going to have to be, then you won't do this. So I just wanted to put that out there. Now, those of you who maybe have a bigger following and you're a little bit more advanced in your business and you've had some success, that those ratios will shift, and you can spend maybe a little bit more time. But if I look back at my coaches, my newer coaches in the past, 8 months, who have had a lot of success getting started, they are coaches who all of their sales and coaches are people who they already knew and know. They're people who are already in their network. So it wasn't from their attraction marketing. However, this is where I kind of, not that I disagree with Bob Heilig, but I want to say I think it's really important to start attraction marketing while you're getting started on your business, because when those warm market people run out, you want to have people to talk to. And this happens a lot with coaches who have some early success. They run through their warm market, their existing contacts. So that's why I think you've still got to be like building that while you're reaching out to all the people that are already within your circle of influence. So you're a newer coach. Be sure that you are not like overlooking the people who are already within your existing circle of influence while you're learning to be good on social. So, and as I go through these kind of ideas around creating a plan, keep in mind that where you're at in your business, this will look a little bit different. A newer coach, their social media content will need to be different from mine. I'm 5 years in. Everyone, like my following, knows I'm a career coach. So you're going to have to, just like I did in the beginning, kind of build up this credibility, build up this value, and just share in a different way. So just, you have to take that all with a grain of salt. Okay. So let me look over here to I'm just running my mouth and look at the chat window real quick. Issa said it was a game changer for you. That was the podcast from Bob Heilig. I think that's what she was referring to. Good, yeah. And I can see this. I mean, it's easy to do. It's like Insta stories. I can spend my time like Insta storying all day long. You know what? I'm like, this is great and all, but like, I need to actually talk to somebody and see if they might want to join a challenge group, because I can be all super cute on stories, but no one's going to be jumping into my inbox. They just don't. They just don't. We have to actually invite them. So, okay. I wanted to review some social media do's and don'ts as the social media culture has changed in the past few years. A coach, some of you have seen this already, Janelle Summers, she has kind of come up with the social media do's and don'ts. That's kind of the current, rules of engagement or whatever for social. So let me share my screen and find that. Okay, so how can I make this bigger? Let me see if I make this bigger. All of a sudden, I'm like, how do I use my Google Docs? So just a reminder, and for some of you, this is going to be news. So I just wanted to make sure we don't put links on our social media. We do not put a link to a product on social media. Apparently, it's not as Facebook does not like hashtags. I didn't really know that. That was something new that's kind of trend. Like they don't prefer hashtags. And when I say that, it means like when Facebook sees certain things, it will decide to show your post to more people or not. So if we're posting like a Google link or a YouTube link, that's another website. They don't want you to leave Facebook. So if they see a link like that's posted, or if you're posting sales links, and apparently they don't like hashtags, their algorithms decide to make you less visible to your following. So you want to play by Facebook's rules. Always, always. Hang on, what am I seeing over here? Yeah, so this is kind of new. He said this is kind of what's happening now, because things shift and things change. When someone hovers over your, hang on, I missed. Use words don't use words that would trigger Facebook to think it's a post about a product or service or business. So you want to be savvy to not talk like you're selling something, because Facebook will actually it'll recognize phrases that look like that. You should not have Beachbody Coach in your bio. Don't do it. I know you are, but people will automatically make an assumption about you. Stock photos, they recognize stock photos. Websites, don't post about politics. Come on now. Nobody wants to hear about stuff. You can have your opinions, but they're not going to help you grow a business. Yes. Don't even use the name of a product, Shakeology Cup. Don't mass message. Scripted messages, while we can use them sometimes, Facebook will recognize if you're using the same thing, and if you are copy pasting other people's posts, it acknowledges it. So don't do that. It acknowledges when something's been posted a couple times, because then it's like, this is not original. Clients don't. Oh, I hear somebody. Mute yourself, Pete's. And they're also now, this is kind of new, they're also acknowledging if you're using things like, they call it bait engagement, comment below, message me, tag your friends. This is really tough. I still do it sometimes just because I forget, but you can start to get creative about how to say, to get someone to do those things out using those words, because it really is important to actually tell people, if you want in, here's what to do. We can't just assume they're going to. We have to tell them, but you can get savvy with how to do it. Don't use sales words, life by design, financial freedom. They are catching on to these things and they don't want it. So do's, yes, use your personal page, friend request people, personal messages. Yes, personal messages, personal messages, personal messages, personal messages, personal messages. Do it. You have to talk to people. And the more you do that, the more those people will see your stuff. Original pics and videos. Yes, we can use people's the cute stock quote photos. They're fine, but it does not help you as much as something original. Before afters, poll people for their opinion. Yes, the more you get people talking below your post, the more it bumps it. Funny memes, bust myths. Yes, objections, challenge objections before you get them. Go live. That really boosts your affinity. Focus on engaging others in conversations rather than getting a sale. Yes, and when people are commenting, definitely be liking and commenting. You can read these. Quality over quantity. Yes, hashtags within your caption on Instagram. You know, I'm not sure how true that is. There's mixed reviews on that, but do mix up your hashtags and engage. These are obvious. Okay, we know this, I think. Hang on, let me check the chat real quick. Can you do the drop an emoji thing? I mean, yes, I think they can still pick up on it. So maybe just vary it. Maybe just, I mean, it's not saying you can't. It's just saying recognize that it might impact the affinity. It's just acknowledge that acknowledge why Facebook has its little algorithms. It is trying to create a positive experience for its users. And it's obviously going to not want to show your stuff to people if you seem to be just sharing unoriginal content. Or if you're, I don't know, posting infrequently. Or if you're posting links that are to another site, it's going to say this person isn't really like helping us, so we're just gonna like not help them. So just kind of keep in mind what they're trying to accomplish and play by their rules. Like they love video, they love video right now. And this is a hard one for me that I'm not super consistent with video, but they love video, like live video, ideally. So, okay, all right. So let me go back to stop sharing. So that was just kind of a little review of do's and don'ts on social media. But let me repeat this again. When we get off this call and we go into tomorrow, remember, when you have time to work your business, remember what is most important. I'm just going to repeat it. You've got tracking conversations, you've got to be meeting people, you've got to be caring about people enough to talk to them and not just expect them to come to you, because they will not. All right, so let's get into a game plan. I hesitate to give you a what to do exactly because there is no right way. And I'm super careful about systems with my team because I don't want a system-dependent team. I want a team who trusts themselves and understands best practices and is an independent business owner. Other teams might do it, but I feel like I can cripple you when you have too much systems because it takes out your creativity. It takes out your individual, brilliance and creativity. So I want to give you a framework and best practices for you to operate within. So that's why even like this 30-day challenge, I say you can copy paste it just because I want you to feel confident, but I really, really want you to think for yourself and what you're trying to accomplish and who you're trying to attract. Because if you attract people with other people's content, they're not your people, right? You want to attract your people. So just keep that in mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a couple different options of a game plan, just so you can kind of figure out what works best for you, and identifying that where you're at in your business, this will make a difference. Like, you know, it's gonna vary based on the kind of organization and business you have right now. But essentially, at the end of the day, what I want for all of you is to have intention, to be intentional about your business and not just show up each day like, what do I post? That is the bottom line, is you've got to have a plan that's not just sloppy. And you've got to be able to cover in the course of a month or course of a week a variety of things. That's what I want to get across. You want to be sure that you're touching all bases within the course of a week or month. Okay, so there's a lot of room within this. It's just, those are the main things. You've got to be intentional, and you've got to be covering the course of covering a wide variety of things. I'm just going to throw out some things just to make sure that you understand exactly what those things are. Obviously, sharing your journey has to be obvious that you're on a journey, but it also has to be obvious that you have a business that others can join. I find this is the one thing that people have a hard time with. They have no problem sharing their journey and inspiring and encouraging people and sharing value. They want to help their love people. But it's not obvious that if I were to scroll your feed, that you're actually a coach and I could join your team, and that you want me to join your team. I need to know that you want me to join your team, that you're open for business, that you're open, that you want to lead me, that you want to help me. Because I'm afraid. Coaching is terrifying. I mean, I'm thinking of me before I started. Coaching is scary. And we want to know that there's somebody who's going to be there for us. We're going to that's actually that we like and we trust, and they're cool, and they're going to help me, and they're going to partner with me. Okay, so make sure that those couple things. Obviously, being a real person, and it's not just your business. It's like sharing your life. It's sharing how funny you are, sharing how creative you are in the kitchen or whatever it is, sharing how whatever, so I want to see you're a real person, not just a business person. Sharing the results or the benefits of working with you. So that could be your own transformation, that could be other transformations, testimonials, whatever. So why do I want to join you? And this is kind of maybe not in the top 5, but addressing objections before you get them. Understanding what your ideal client or coach, what their biggest concerns and objections are. If it's money, if it's time, if it's whatever. So I like to see that's a lot of what I should see when I go to your page. Okay. Man, I'm really glad to hear that the 30-day challenge is helping a lot. I feel like, though, if that's just what you're posting, it's not going to be a robust social media plan, because I want to see more I still want to see some lightness. On Instagram, it's not as necessary as long as you're doing stories. I think Instagram is a little bit different as long as you're sharing real life stories. I will say this, I'm going to call myself out because I was on a mastermind call yesterday with top coaches, and Holly Hillier, who's been top 10 for the past couple of years, she's a stud, rock star, and she talks about and this is, I'm not sure who that was. This is her flow, and it's not mine, but I did learn from her. She on social media and her ideal client or coach, she is attracting people who want to build a six-figure business. She's unapologetic about it. She is recruiting, just like, I don't want discount coaches. I don't want hobby coaches. She's not, she doesn't want them. She is specifically looking for people who, like her, they wanted to start and build a six-figure business. I'm not mad at that. It's not my approach. But that's, but I love that she's so clear on who she's looking for and she's unapologetic about it. But one thing that she does that I don't think I do well enough is she's like, it's hard to build a business. I show the hard on my stories. I show my hustle. I show how I'm fitting it all in. My people see me work hard. People will say, oh my gosh, you work so hard. It's like, yeah, I do. And if you join my team, you're gonna work hard too. If you want to do what I'm doing, I'm like, you know what? Good for you for making that. And I feel like I'm not sharing enough of like me working the business because I think it's just assumed. Well, duh, how else do you build a big business? But I realized, you know what? I don't show that side of it as much, like on my stories. I don't show like what it exactly looks like when I'm, grinding out some emails, when I'm messaging people or whatever. And I think I'm missing the boat there because then I think if someone joins my team and they're like, oh, I have to like talk to a lot of people. I'm like, well, yeah. But maybe that's not bad. So anyway, she was 100% unapologetic. She's like, not that I don't want anybody. If someone joins, I'm going to help them whatever their goals are. But she is very specific about who she's targeting. And that's good. You all should be. You all should know, not that you know exactly the kind of coach pace you want, but you should know who you're talking to when you're sharing on social media. You should know this person's interests, fears, struggles, desires of their heart, the things that they're most insecure about, because this person is a lot like the old you. So you should know exactly who you're talking to and exactly what she wants out of life. What battles she's up against. You should know, because that's how you can best craft your message to her. Work with the willing, amen, or work with the working is the new way that Chelsea Pearson puts it, and I love it. I work with the working. Okay, so there's a couple ways you can go about this. I see a lot of the people here who are at the Summer Success Retreat, and we actually did a full day, essentially, of this social media workshop, where essentially they were to walk away. Not everybody actually completed it, but I think a lot of people made a lot of headway. They 30-day posting plan. They actually planned out their content. Some of them actually did. Teresa Levine walked away. She had 30 days of posts. So she was just it's just dropping them all month. Can you imagine what that would feel like? What would it feel like? I'm not suggesting that you have to do this. I'm just asking a hypothetical question. Could you imagine what it would feel like to already have your content crafted up and laid out for 30 days? Oh my gosh, what would you do with all that emotional energy? All that melodrama every day, huh? You'd help a lot of people. You build up your current people. You grow some leaders. Right, Lauren? It's because Lauren, God bless her, MVP with her newborn, was up till 1 o'clock in the morning finishing up hers. But she did. She has 30 days of posts. Now, I think both of them are going to have to kind of come up with the photos to go with those posts and the images. But the cool thing is they already know what they need. So it's not just like in their hot mess day when they haven't showered and there's, mayhem around them to figure out a photo. Oh, is that just me? Or is it every single last one of you when you need a picture all of a sudden? You're like, I look like crap right now. And I cannot take a picture of this life. This is insane. But it's because I'm not intentional. It's because I haven't had a plan to look for an opportunity to take some, get a good image. So having a plan gives you an opportunity to be proactive. And I'm not suggesting that anybody's inauthentic. People need to see your hot mess. No doubt. But you also owe it to the people you serve to be intentional about the value that you're giving them. Okay. And not just like, whatever, like they get what's left today. People, they get whatever because they're last on my mind. You know, you don't want people following you to think that they're an afterthought. You want them to feel like you actually meant to serve them. You know what, Rochelle? I should probably go get a shortcut like yours, and then I don't have to worry about it. That's an idea. Okay, so I'm just gonna share like a really simple plan. Like some of you've already seen it. It's a simple graphic. Because here's the thing. There's no perfect plan. There's just a plan that you follow. Okay, there are some sucky plans, and then I made sure to not share a sucky plan. But this one's a good one. It's a good, and I think this is definitely maybe most appropriate for those of you who are newer coaches. You're just building. You don't have a large base yet of existing challengers or coaches. You're still kind of growing your social media. So this is going to be maybe more appropriate for you. And I'll just share this link. It's really nothing special, but it does cover all the bases. I think I've shared this with some of you. And I'll post this in the group. But I legit, in a second, I'm going to have us all like taking like, well, you know what, it's 8:30 now. I don't want to do that. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to take the time. But I'll share this with you, the link in the event so that you can grab this and you can start developing a game plan. Now, what I suggest is you consider what's coming in via the text reminder and this, and you have to make a judgment call as to what's going to be too much right now. You know what I mean? Like it may not be appropriate, but again, like I said, I'm not in favor of just posting what you're getting fed to you via the remind, because it's not full enough of you to do that. But so here's what we have. They're covering engagement posts, and this is just engagement means like you're talking to your audience, you're asking them to get involved, to post, to comment below. You can, what outfit do you like best? I say don't do like the super like trivial stuff like too often, like multiple times a week. I think that's just a little bit like excessive, but people like to have an opinion. So if you're trying out 2 different dresses at the mall and you need an opinion, people love to get their opinion. Something like that. A coaching breadcrumb post. Okay. Then the next day it's in another, what do we have? A lifestyle post, a fitness nutrition post. Then we have, again, engagement post, coaching breadcrumb, health and fitness, go live, coaching breadcrumb. So you'll see, and if we don't know what breadcrumb means, we just mean you're talking about the coaching life. You're talking about being a coach without being obnoxious about it. You're just kind of breadcrumbing it, because there are times you go for hard-hitting call to actions, like, do you want to join my team kind of thing. And we want to like breadcrumb. It's the jab, 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 right hook, Gary Vaynerchuk idea of kind of little bitty nudges it in there, and then you're like, boom. So, that's what that means. Breadcrumb, lifestyle, progress pick. So this is nothing crazy, right, guys? But before you do this, I want everybody to look at their calendar. So before you lay out any kind of weekly plan or monthly plan, look at your calendar right now, whatever it is you use to plan your months, or if you have a planner, if it's just Google Calendar. When are your challenge groups? When are your free groups, paid groups, sneak peeks, whatever? When are you starting a new program? If there's something that's coming down the pipeline from Beachbody, that's the place to start. Because you don't want to, if you're rolling into the week like, I'm gonna just post about a challenge group, and then maybe I'll start one whenever I have enough people to get into it. You've got to know, to be intentional with your social media, you've got to know when your free group, now if you're brand new, like I see Jerica here, she hasn't even gone through the training, you don't know yet. Cool, I got you, girl. But if you should know when your next free group is. You should know when your next challenge group is. You should know if you're invited to a sneak peek. So you should know when you're going to need a post ready for that. Generally, Sunday night's a great time to post like a good big call to action. But I'm not even just talking about the call to action. I'm talking about the breadcrumbs leading up to it. If you know you have a free group, that's like, maybe it's you're doing a grilling recipe group. I don't know, but you're going to do a big call to action on Sunday night. Don't you think it might be cool with like Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, you're sharing pictures of a grill meal that people are like, oh my gosh, that looks amazing. And you're like, I know, right? Guess what? I have a free group Friday or next Monday. But if you don't have a plan, if you don't know what's up, you can't be super smart and intentional. You can't be super savvy. You know, you have, when you're that next sneak peek is, or that next challenge group is, you can reverse engineer that those weeks prior and plan to breadcrumb specifically to what you're inviting to. So put it on the calendar. I'm gonna give you like 60 seconds right now. And if you don't have a date, just pick one. Never shower. Wow, Kate, that's impressive. Kate says every Friday or sometimes Thursday for the week coming up, she types up all her posts and makes a photo list. Star student. You can get a gold star for real. All right, so I think everybody probably nice. Rochelle, when's everyone's groups? Let me see them. When? Just tell me in the chat. I want to know. Okay, so that's how you're going to start. You're going to know when those are so that you can do a big call to action. And you can do your breadcrumbs leading up to those things. And again, like if there's PSL, pumpkin spice Shakeology coming, there's a date for that. You can start thinking about how you're going to be breadcrumbing for that, right? It's really not that complicated. You know, once you kind of decide you want to be intentional and you actually want to be a business owner, it's once you kind of have it, you actually find that you have some ideas. But I think, like Kate says, she does this on a weekly basis. That's awesome. I think that might be a good place to start for a lot of people. If you want to do it in like one day and do the entire month, that's great too. You have to kind of understand how you work, how your brain works best. What I know to be true is that I cannot get into that emotional, creative sharing space every single day on a moment's notice. When I try, I'm stuck. And I don't feel like I'm giving my best. And so I try to, when I'm in a content creating or more inspired or creative mood or mode or space, I can drill out way more value than I can if I try to do that in bits and pieces throughout the week. It's just I'm stuck in the middle of like a, you know, like and then I'm just kind of not as authentic and thoughtful. So keep that in mind. You cannot expect yourself to be super awesome on the spot with your verbiage and everything in the middle of, you know, whatever life. So you'll figure out what works for you. So that I'm going to share that link for those of you that's a little bit more simple. This next one I'm going to share is what I shared with the ladies who are at the Summer Success Retreat. I'm just going to review it, and then I'm going to drop the link in the event so that you can take a look at it. For those of you who are, you have a more established business, you have a more established following, you want to be a lot more intentional about your business, because again, those of you who are in that space, a lot more of your time is spent in leadership. When you're a newer coach and you don't have that, that's to worry about. You can spend most of your time just inviting, and a little bit of your time with the social media piece. For those of us who have teams and a lot of challengers and people to serve now, it's a different dynamic. We have to be aware that we're in leadership mode oftentimes too. We're investing in that. So I wanted to show this to you. We don't have time to go through it all. I want you guys to go to bed if you need to go to bed, or a power hour for the next hour if you choose. But here is my screen not sharing still. It's not. Okay, so I got this from Jasmine Star. If you're familiar with her, you'll know that she's like, um, social media maven, whatever. She's got amazing, whatever, social media. Um, and she actually sends, you can pay for her service to send like monthly post caption ideas and even images, which I don't prefer because they're stock photos. But I love the inspiration that I get from her captions. They get my juices going. So this is what we did this past weekend. And I gave people all this space to create their entire month. So you can do this on your own, but it's a 30-day Instagram challenge. You can go through this if you like, but like taking down you want to measure how your social media improves. So basically, let me start at the bottom because this has a little calendar. So they take a calendar and they have 7 different categories, and I'll go look at those in a second, but like you just write out, say like, okay, whatever yellow category is, you just bust out like 5 posts within that genre. Same with red, and then so forth. And then now you have all these posts. And I like the idea of doing it like category at a time rather than day at a time, because I feel like you can just flow, and you're able to also think about the variety that you want to share within that thing. So couple things I wanted to say about each of these different categories before I send this to you, because you have to take with a grain of salt that she's talking to businesses, and our business is a little bit unique in that we are people too, and we're trying to be personal. So I think you have to be smart about how you use these, especially if you're a newer coach. It can seem a little bit too formal and forced because your business doesn't have that established credibility yet. But the yellow category is behind the scenes tutorial. She has really cool ideas, and I love these. They really get your juices flowing. But this can include things like recipes, your miracle morning, like that's your behind the scenes. Whatever you do to meal prep, your nap time or lunch hour hustle, like this is like people peeking into what it is that helps you to do what you do. This is kind of showing people like how you do this. Your best tips on how to do it well. Like if you you have a great way of planning your calendar to like super organized. I don't know, whatever it is that's behind the scenes that gives people that kind of peek. About me. So this is obvious, but her examples are very much like, let me introduce myself. It's very formal. This really makes a lot of sense for those of you who are super established and you're getting a lot of followers, to like do those formal introductions. But I think it's important for us to do that, all of us, every so often anyway, on Instagram especially, just to kind of like, I don't know, I think it's important. But I also think of this as just like a peek into who you are. Lifestyle kind of, all right? My why. Obvious, I don't think I'm spending time on this. Why you work out, why you build a business, all these things, your why. Benefits. This, I think, encompasses like testimonials. You can sharing results, sharing, wins, basically communicating to people in one way or another why what you're doing, what you can offer will benefit them. Could be income. Like I shared a big income post. My success partner, Sarah Lenore, shared her big income post. That's a big and bold move, but like, do you know how many, that's one thing that I can admit, like I'm terrified to do, and I haven't done it quite so boldly yet. Because I'm like, it's so awkward to me, but like I'm looking at her like proud of her because it's so inspiring. But that's a benefit kind of post right there. Showcasing product service. This could be, just sort of talking about BOD without saying the word BOD. This is where you can talk about Shakeology, the beach bars, without actually saying those words. Or even like us being on a Zoom right now, showcasing this is a part of us. This is a part of your product. Coaching, pictures of you with your clients if you happen to like be near them, anything like that. But the coach opportunity, that's also showcasing that. Obvious personal insights. This is just like those things that are your personal insights, whether they're like deep, like let's talk about perfectionism, or there's nothing like a cold drink on a hot day, you know, my favorite summer beverage is blah, blah, blah. So this is just, again, personal, your personal values, thoughts, feelings, preferences, you know, whatever. And this is obvious. So this is a great starting place. And again, I'll send this to everybody. Stop share. To give you this framework. Do you have to use this? No. But give yourself a plan. I think this is a solid place to start. If you have a better idea, it's your business. But what I mostly want to impress on you is how important it is to be intentional. That if you want to grow a business, you have to treat this business like a business. Part of that is having a marketing plan. No legit business doesn't have a marketing plan. They don't just wing it every day. They don't. Not any growing business wings it every day. If you're a newer coach, you get a pass. You have a lot of people to talk to still. Okay? Like, you're not expected to be a marketer, really, yet. You need to be a networker before more than anything as you grow into the marketing side, because that, you know, this all was terrifying to me too. I think pretty much most people here, who are phenomenal at sharing on social media, they didn't come in super confident with it. They were terrified too. But I promise it becomes easier once you learn yourself more and you learn the value. Once you begin to become more in touch with the value and that you want to provide people, it becomes easier when you know what it is you want to impress upon people. You get better at it. So, you know, if you're terrified by all of this now, don't worry. Like, a lot of it right now is kind of winging this side of it. But we obviously want you to start thinking about how you can be more intentional with it, while you're connecting, while you're building relationships, while you're networking, while you're, you know, talking to your warm market. So, any questions, any thoughts, anybody wants to share, anybody wants to unmute and chime in? I see something down here. Isn't there like an Introduction Friday hashtag a lot of people use? You may not have made that up, Keely, but I don't know. I do not know. Anybody have any insights, thoughts? Something?
I have a question.
Sure.
So I'm like totally fine building in additional time to like map this out, but I'm just wondering, for people that like truly rely on that like 1 hour power hour to get things done in a day, like and build, how do you like push this planning into that time?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody,
I feel like that's not.
Yeah, if somebody legit only has an hour to build this business, they're probably going to be like 45 minutes connecting, inviting, blah, 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 blah. I hope they're not counting their workout in their hour, because that's just your life. I think it should be just your life.
Yeah.
But they may not be able to do all this kind of planning. However, they should have a plan as to, okay, on this day I'm talking about my why. On this day I'm talking about, you know what I mean? Like, you should, like, how I know on each day what I'm going to talk about. So during your workout, during your day, we all have our brain to work during the day, even if we're busy. Like, you can think about the kind of content you're going to be, you know, sharing that day. You can be intentional, because you know that on Mondays I'm talking about my why. Or, you know what I mean? You kind of have a general plan. You know what you want to offer day to day. So you're not coming into it completely like, what do I say? You know what I mean? So I think, say somebody like that, and I think a lot of people, especially in the beginning, that's what this will look like. And it should look like, honestly. I don't think, because again, you should not be spending more time on this than your actual vitals. But you should have intention around when you're posting. So if someone just, it's like, I know that Tuesdays I talk about something behind the scenes. So let me think about what I can capture throughout my day. Maybe I want to take a picture of my, morning workout flow or something like that. So they're not coming completely blind into what they're gonna to share. So good question, very good question. In general, I think a lot of us aren't gonna do a 30. I was bringing the people who were at the social meet the retreat this idea of doing it in one day because I had them hostage for several hours. So I thought, what a blessing I'll be giving them to go home, like sit down and do it. So they can be like, this sucks. But then they're like, sweet, look at this. Kind of being facetious. But I think for me, what this will mostly look like is having doing this on a weekly basis, but planning out a lot of time for the future and never coming into the day I don't know. So I think it's going to be more you're doing this in creative time. I've kind of mapped out my week personally, certain days I'm in more of a creative space. I'm doing less of the leadership and inviting it's more content creation. But that's because I have a different lifestyle than most of you, because I have now have a full-time work schedule as a coach. So you're going to have to figure out what works in your, and I didn't always, just a disclaimer, I didn't always remember I had a baby and 2 toddlers when I started. So I was definitely doing the nap time hustle and the early morning and the nursing a baby while listening to podcasts. Yes, I was totally doing all that stuff, but so all this looked a little different. You have to figure out in your current season and your current pace as a coach and your current goals, what this will look like in your life. Again, the bottom line is having intention and having a plan so that you're not just throwing stuff out there to people. What do I use to schedule my posts on Instagram? I actually don't, but Planoly, I have. But Planoly, they still don't, they schedule it to prompt you to post it. I think they can auto post. I think you have to pay for that whole thing. I've never done that. But I think those Planoly and Preview, and I think later, is it Latergram or later is one of them too. They queue it up for you. So at the right time, it prompts you and you just tap and post it. Facebook does have schedulers that will automatically post. They're fine, except that Facebook doesn't like third-party schedulers. And on personal pages, it's the only way you can schedule is through a third-party schedule, unless it's in a group. Within a group, it's fine because Facebook has a native scheduler for groups, but it doesn't for your personal page. And if you're using something like Buffer or Hootsuite, which are third-party tools, or Post My Party or Edgar, which I've used, it doesn't prefer it. So it's not as ideal, but hey, if you work all day and it's the only way it's going to happen, you do what you got to do, Later is auto. Okay.
Something else that I've done is it's just, I think planning ahead at least weekly is amazing, but if that just doesn't happen, I look back at my last 9-ish posts on Instagram, and I pretty much shared the same content, and I'm okay, that post was about the community. Okay, that was a transformation. Oh, okay, that was me meditating. Okay, so then I'm okay, I'm due for a relationship post or a life post. So that always helps me, and it's not I have to scroll through my entire Facebook feed and waste time. So that's helpful.
Great tip. And let's be real, I'm sharing this idea to help you, but are we all gonna be super planned out from now on? No. But I'm getting you thinking about it. And so Molly said, if you're on, let me just see let me just round this out right now because I haven't spoken about this, that's an idea. But that's why I shared those frameworks, because that will give you a good idea of what you might be, where the holes might be for you, so that you can be more intentional about those things. Sometimes it's easier for constituencies to be our thoughts. Yeah, I got that. But it's I need to be accountable to posting about the business, whatever. All right, well, I don't want to keep you guys too long. If there's a pressing question, shoot it out there. Otherwise, I'll just drop the links into the event, and you can use them at your leisure, however you'd like. I don't see anything else. So, all right. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions beyond this and you want to send them my way, drop that in the event, and I'll see if I can help. All right. Have a good night. Bye, guys.